Hello, I'm Richard Hooper and this is SatTV Week. Now I'm pleased to be joined by Shivaji of Hughes, India. Shivaji, thank you for joining me today.
It's my pleasure, Richard, and I look forward to a good chat.
Let's start with India. What's happening in India? What are the developments?
Well, where do you start and where do you finish? But I'll say it's a very exciting time in India. We've always been a big country with a lot of potential, but due to supply constraints by the government policies, lack of capacities, we haven't been able to take it to its full destiny of fulfillment. And right now, what we are seeing is an emerging country. The government has been stable. This is the second term with a majority government, and they want things done right away. They want every school, hospital, village to be connected with 4G broadband. So it's very dynamic environment. What was always lagging was the space policies, the capacity which was only to be fulfilled by domestic capacity, and hence while we had a great customer base, we are probably outside of the US the largest VSAT operator in the world. We were not able to sell the bandwidth to the way it was required. So I'll say what's happening now is a breaking out of that. The government has understood economics, the end result is important, and they're looking to change various policies and unshackle the supply constraint so that the demand can be fully fulfilled with the right supply.
Now, you mentioned it, it's all about policies. Is there a new space policy coming into place?
Absolutely. It's just a month old. The Space Policy 2023 has come out, and it's the first time it's allowed for an open marketplace. So satellite operators, companies can set up shop in India, take an authorization and sell directly to the Indian market. Along with that, what is so good is they've allowed LEOs, GEOs, MEOs to come in, and which was not the case. India was a GEO-only country. For example, SES O3B was never allowed. So that's unshackled all the different types of dimensions. Complementing it, the telecom policies have really come out very well in the last 2 years. We were not allowed to do cellular backhaul, mobility, aero, land, maritime, all that's been allowed. The restrictions on antenna sizes, space speeds of links. There were so many kind of barriers which were put on. And when you think back at it, in a niche industry, if you handcuff it with so many things, how is it supposed to grow? But I think all these changes in the telecom policy, along with the new space policy, creates the right climate. And I feel in the next 6 to 12 months, you'll see a lot of capacities coming into India, and definitely the one we are most interested in, OneWeb, is going to be in India live by the end of the year.
Now, you've almost answered the question I was going to say to you about OneWeb, but that must be very exciting for you as you are heavily involved in OneWeb.
Oh, most definitely. Hughes in general has got multiple roles in OneWeb, as you know. But for India, we've always believed that, in terms of supply, we were probably in the 2G equivalent service, giving high bandwidth prices with low bandwidth. And now we have with OneWeb possibly a leap to a 4G plus kind of service. So it's for customers, we are addressing the capacity, the cost, and the performance. So it's all the things which we used to run shy of all these years, that you can't give you capacity, we can't give you price, and we have high latency. So where's the sweet spot? But I'll say that now, with all the strengths of SATCOM, with these 3 boxes ticked, OneWeb will be in India. We've signed an exclusive deal with OneWeb, taking all their capacity, because we believe it's a 2-generation leap for the Indian market, and we have a lot of customers and segments already there waiting for it. We've seeded it. Unfortunately, the Ukrainian conflict delayed the launch by 6 to 9 months, but it's here now. We are actively involved in the setting up of the service in India, and I can assure you, before the end of the year, the service will be live in the country.
Now, India is huge. It's a market in itself. Hughes could just wander around in India operating quite happily. How do you approach that, being such a big market in one country?
Well, it helps that we've been there since the inception. So, when the telecom and the economic liberalization of India happened in the early 90s, Hughes was one of the first companies to enter. We set up a software company, we took the telecom license, we were the first to start services. In fact, after the mobile services in the 4 cities in India, we were the first private telecom service provider in the country, even as only a VSAT player. So, we were there from the inception. The way we see ourselves is once you grow with something, it's never too big because you're part of that size. So it's been very natural for us. And definitely in India, it's a complex country. There are many dynamics and there are different pockets of push and pull. But for us, since we have committed to it, we've always had strong leadership in Hughes US, who are Indians. We've always believed in end-to-end in India. So from service provision to OEM, we have a huge field service strength. And most recently, we even took over Bharti Airtel, which is India's leading telco satellite business, and merged it into us. So today we are a joint venture with Bharti Airtel, having a 1/3 stake, and we are stronger than ever as a fabric. And to partner with an Indian telco like Bharti, apart from just their OneWeb synergies, I think it gives us tremendous depth and strength in the country.
Now, finally, every country has its challenges. What is the challenge for Hughes in India?
Well, that's quite the line, but I think the challenge is getting, I think in the last 1 or 2 years, things have opened up. So 2 years back, I would start a long answer, but I'm running out of points. I think the challenge is really that to fulfill a lot of these policy implementations very soon and to help fulfill whatever is the latent demand. Secondly, in India, the prices is the biggest challenge because we have the lowest 4G and mobile prices. We have the lowest MPLS data and broadband prices. So it's about how you build a strong economic model and how you quickly go and fulfill all the different latent demand and niches. And I think that's the challenge, but it's a shorter answer.
Exciting times. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you, Richard. My pleasure.